Currently, India's strategic defense relies on a system designed for a very specific geographic reality. While the Agni-V is often described as an intercontinental missile, its technical classification tells a different story. It operates as an intermediate-range ballistic missile, a tool built to address threats within a specific hemisphere rather than across the globe. This map shows that gap in reach. Officially, the government reports a range of 5,000 kilometers, though defense analysts estimate its practical limit is between 7,000 and 9,000 kilometers. This range is not an accident of engineering, it is a choice of policy. By keeping the radius centered on China and Pakistan, India maintains a credible deterrent against its immediate neighbors without signaling a direct threat to the West. Deterrence is only effective when it matches the scope of a nation's interests. As India's economic and diplomatic influence expands beyond its own continent, a missile range confined to its immediate neighbors creates a strategic gap, leaving its global interests without the same level of protection as its local borders. The DRDO has now made it clear that this regional era is nearing its end. Chairman Samir V. Kamat recently confirmed that the technology for a larger system is ready, and the organization is prepared to move forward as soon as the government gives the order. The Agni-VI is designed to close that strategic gap. Its projected range of 10,000 to 12,000 kilometers would double the reach of the current fleet. At 12,000 kilometers, this radius changes the calculation for major capitals. It moves past the Middle East, covering Europe, Africa, and Russia. The circle now crosses the oceans. For the first time, parts of the United States, specifically Alaska, fall within potential reach. This shift moves India's defense posture away from protecting its own borders and toward a position of intercontinental influence. This capability places India in the same technical tier as the world's most established nuclear powers. It matches the reach of the US Minuteman III and Russia's RS-28 Sarmat, moving India into an exclusive group of nations with planetary strike capabilities. It also creates parity with China's Dongfeng 41. Beijing has long possessed the ability to strike the US mainland, and the Agni-VI ensures India maintains a comparable level of strategic reach. However, range is only half of the equation. Recent conflicts have shown that even sophisticated air defense networks have limits. No interceptor system is perfect, and defense agencies are increasingly focused on how to bypass these shields entirely. To counter this, the DRDO is developing hypersonic glide vehicles and scramjet cruise missiles. These are designed to fly at extreme speeds and maneuver during their descent, making it difficult for current sensors and interceptors to track or stop them. A long-range booster paired with a hypersonic payload creates a system that negates the advantage of modern interceptors. It ensures that the ability to strike back remains a guaranteed reality, regardless of how advanced an opponent's defense becomes. If the technology is ready, the delay is no longer technical, it is diplomatic. The Indian government is currently weighing the consequences of when to authorize the first test. Historically, the United States monitors any nation developing missiles capable of reaching the North American continent, often using sanctions or diplomatic pressure to slow their development. But the dynamic with India is different. Over the last 2 decades, Washington remained notably quiet as India's missile range steadily crept upward, signaling a level of strategic comfort that few other nations enjoy. Defense analysts and intelligence agencies already recognize India's latent capability. They know the hardware exists in the lab, even without a public demonstration. But a laboratory capability is a theoretical deterrent. Conducting a live test changes the international conversation, forcing global powers to treat India as a peer, with the ability to influence events on any continent. The government is waiting for a moment when the geopolitical climate makes the test an advantage rather than a liability. When that day arrives, the global media reaction will focus on a single reality. India has officially erased its geographic boundaries. The announcement will likely come directly from the Prime Minister. It will serve as the formal signal that India has moved beyond its role as a regional power and has reached a new tier of strategic autonomy. The Agni-VI represents the transition from a nation focused on local stability to one with a reach that matches its global economic and political ambitions. It provides the final piece of hardware required for India to be recognized as a truly global actor.